A couple shout outs. We've got to give much thanks to the people that make it all possible. From the boosters to your families, to you, to the administration, to Mrs. Inc., Mr. Anderson, and just the whole friend community.
And the tech crew up there.
Yeah, there you go, the tech crew. So, what else do we have? Oh, there's merchandise that's around, so there's...
Yeah, because we said this is not like a free thing, so it takes time, money, and energy, and part of the money comes from boosters, but also our little side hustles. So we have fundraisers like throughout the year, but one of them that we're doing right now, these like hot sweet bracelets that we're selling, and then also little, suckers, those caramel apple things that people like. So see Miss Gerber right over there if you want any of that.
There's also an online merchandise store if you want shirts, hoodies, things of that nature. There we go, so he has it right there. Ask your teacher for the online link for that too, which you can also find. Now, without further ado, we have a number of great, excellent student performers. Give them much respect and much love. This is an incredibly powerful and brave thing to do, to come up, share a little bit of yourself and your writing, and they have all elected to do that, so big props to that. And we have our first performers.
Yes, and it's a duo.
Oh, a duo. So first up we have Uche Bofa.
And Anvi Kana.
Hi guys. But when it loads, behind me I am showing you the real answers of your peers answering 3 questions. What makes you the happiest? What makes you the saddest? And what do you live for? According to the Newport Academy, 1 out of 3 high school schoolers report experiencing poor mental health in the past few years. Also, around 50% say they felt sadness and loneliness. Hi, my name is Uche Boyko,
And I'm Anvi Khanna.
and we are seniors who are soon to graduate. Over the course of my time at Friends, I have always wanted to be Writer's Week. I never really knew what I wanted to present because I had so much writing and work I felt I could share. But I knew I wanted my piece to have a connection with something, or in this case, someone's. When I asked Anvi for help with this piece, I knew it would be a shifting experience because I met Anvi at a pivotal point in my high school career. These responses were recorded by some members of the Friend community, but not all. One of my greatest achievements in high school was forming stories with many different paths of people. This can include people I bonded with over a shared struggle in math, or a hall monitor I greeted in the hallways. Lately, I have been pondering the existence of others. These people, these stories, continue on without me. I would be lying if I said some of these experiences weren't bitter. I still hold the most painful losses and memories to my heart, because when I'm gone, and not just in respects to friends, I want to make sure my soul has been shaped and molded by other souls I have met. It's all here, everything you need in this moment.
One of the things that makes me sad is working hard and not reaping the benefits of doing so. Throughout my life, I've struggled with and still struggle with mental health struggles and perfectionist tendencies, and I know I'm not the only one. One day during junior year, I was having an upsetting day at school due to multiple reasons, including getting a bad grade on my math test. My whole day seemed ruined until I randomly thought of the saying, "I choose peace." At that point in my life, I didn't know that the saying would have such a big impact on me, my being as a whole, but it did. As well as that, at that point in my life, I didn't know how to choose peace, and I didn't know what peace even looked like for me. All I knew is that I just had to internalize it. I would also just say it as an affirmation to myself, and I would share it with others. At the beginning of the school year, I even wanted to write my college essay about my journey of choosing peace, but I was faced with the questions of how I chose peace, what peace meant to me, and what my journey of peace even was. Later in my senior year, with time, I came to the realization that for me, peace is kind of like the feeling of discomfort. For me, choosing peace was being able to sit with the discomfort of not doing so well or feeling well regarding any aspect of my life, and doing all of that without overanalyzing everything about myself. It was almost like I had to find some sort of comfort within the feeling of discomfort. For me, peace is choosing to put my mental health and physical well-being first, before anything that may seem more important or life-pivoting in that moment. For me, peace was trusting myself, trusting that I'm on the right path and doing my very best. Some of the ways I help myself choose peace are getting out of the house in general, going on walks and reconnecting with nature, going to the gym, or even binge watching a show and spending time with my dog, Archie. The ways I choose peace change over time as well. Since I've had my fair share of chaos in my life so far, I'm sure I've been searching for peace for a pretty long time, though I'm still not exactly sure where my journey of choosing peace really started. I still struggle to choose peace today, but I've definitely been able to do it better as time passes. Choosing peace has allowed me to enjoy the little things, like driving at night with all the car windows down, blasting my music, and stopping at Which Wich to get my custom delicious sandwich. Choosing peace has allowed me to really listen to music and really take in the beat, the lyrics, and the music. Choosing peace has allowed me to take pride in who I am, whether it be academically, personally, or spiritually. Nonetheless, I'm still finding my peace as I grow up, and no matter what your peace may be, I hope you choose to choose peace too.
I'm not 100% sure what you can take away from this piece. My hope was to show we are all so similar. We all take the moments of our past and use that with the hope of our future, as well as the emotions evoked from the now, in order to propel us forward. We all have things that drive us, make us, and show others who we are. However, there are so many times that we convince ourselves we are outliers in human nature, that people couldn't understand anything we could give up to them from ourselves. I hope that this made you know that we're innately able to connect, able to learn, and able to love one another. Maybe the little things in life are the biggest things after all. Thank you so much. And next is Elise Bass.
Hi. I would like to thank everyone for coming to listen. And I would like to thank the teachers that inspired me to do this and kind of made me do it for my last year here. And my mom and my brother and my best friend. And my best friend who these poems are about. Okay, so I have 4 poems. One of them is separate from the other. Do I care? Do you think I look weird? You can think that, but I am myself. No one controls me. I have my own mind. I have my own body. I have my own style. I am my own person. No man, woman, or anyone will take me over. I know I am too much. That's why people leave me. But with that, I don't really care. I know I am weird, but I take pride in it. I am my own person. So this is the first of the 3 that is about my best friend. She passed away a few years ago, so that might be a trigger to anyone. This first one is called Rainbow. The colors you bring. See a rainbow. I know you're there. See a sunrise. I know you're here. See a sunset. I could see the mist of your presence being here. Sun beaming in my eyes, you are teasing me. moon shining like brightly. I'm always thinking of you. I hope you are here, making my life brighter. You make everything better. You are my color. This one's called Superpower. I've changed. So much can change in a year. The world, my life, there's been so much fear. First it was school shutting down. There was so much isolation. To be rid of outside noise. To be free of frustration. Things were so much more clear. I became more self-sufficient. My own person, independent. Through this year, there's been many changes. My independence remained the same. If only this would all end. This is such a shame. Who would have thought much strength would come from this much struggle? I didn't know I had it in me. There was so much to juggle. Being me, the new me, makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel as if I have a superpower. Okay, so this last one is really dark. I wrote this a year ago for Mr. Teschner's class. It is called The Graveyard. The sadness I feel with you gone, depression is strong around spring. I live her life with my own. I bring her to life again, the darkness of her. As the wind talks to me, I cry. I fell as the leaves call to her. Batman, I cry out. I miss you. The evilness of influences that overtook you. You should be here hugging me. As the rain dances towards me, I get soaked as I cry. Looking down at your grave, I miss you. You will always be my one person. Forever loved. Mary, sister, best friend. Thank you. Next is Kyra.
Hello, my name is Kaya, and I would like to shout out Klein's fifth period. And my piece is called I'm Stupid. This may seem like a harsh title because it is. Let me give you some context. I'm a child of Polish immigrants, so for the first 7 years of my life, I only spoke Polish. And instead of going to an English-Polish school, I went to a Polish preschool where I could actually communicate. The reason why I didn't learn English until I was 7 was because I couldn't go to school. Last year for Writers Week, my piece was called Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. And it was about how at the age of 5, I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer and how people are ignorant of that fact. The date of my diagnosis was a couple months before I was supposed to start my first day of kindergarten. And I don't remember much of that time because of how traumatic it was. So I was very behind in school, and guess what my elementary school did to support me and my parents? Absolutely nothing. Administration and principals didn't care, even though I didn't know English. They told my parents that there was nothing wrong with me. I didn't need any support. My mom fought with my elementary school for 2 years from when I was in first grade till 3rd grade to get the extra support I needed. Then finally, in 3rd grade, I finally got a 504. What's a 504, you might be asking? A 504 is a formal plan that a school makes to support students with disabilities that may need support. Sure, I didn't have a disability, but I did qualify. Finally, I got the support I needed, right? Well, not quite. The 504 plan wasn't working for me. I needed way more help than my school expected. So I switched from 504 plan to a IEP. You also might be asking, what's an IEP? An IEP stands for Individualized Education Program, in which it lays out and supports kids who are in special education. So in the fourth grade, I started going to different classes during my school days so that I could get support. But guess what? I had to move to a different city and school because my parents wanted to get out of my hometown. So in the summer of 2016, I moved from my hometown to Hoffman Estates. I started my first day of 5th grade without knowing anybody. But I'm a very sociable person, so when I'm in spaces that I'm comfortable in, I make friends pretty quickly. But I had this one kid in my 5th grade class. I'll call him Jackson. Jackson seemed like an okay kid, but when sat near him in class, he started to make fun of me. He called me stupid because I had extra help outside of class, and that I shouldn't be there. That hurt me, and I got defensive. I'm not stupid, or at least I don't think so. I didn't want to tell anyone, let alone my teacher or an adult in the building. I didn't want to be a snitch or a tattletale for telling someone about Jackson bullying me. Another time I was basically called stupid was when my mom talked about how my principals and my administration at my old elementary school told me that they didn't think I will ever improve in my academics. I was 12 at the time when I was told this. I have many more examples, but we don't have all day. I wanted to prove all of the people that called me dumb or stupid or didn't think I could improve to prove them wrong. That I wasn't dumb or stupid or I couldn't improve. From 12 till 16, I worked my butt off. I was always below average in my reading, writing, and math. I was slowly improving in those areas. I was becoming more independent and not needing as much help as I used to. I was becoming really happy with my improvements. But by the end of my sophomore year, things kind of took a turn. I was still doing great, but I started to doubt myself. I started to procrastinate more, and I felt unmotivated to do my assignments. I had a breakdown in the middle of my geometry final because I didn't have enough extra time. Thankfully, I got some more time, but my case manager for my IEP, who was also my learning strategy teacher, said I can come down to her class if I wanted to talk. And I realized when I was talking to her that I was still trying to impress the people in my past without even realizing it. I realized after years of trying to improve, I wasn't really doing it for myself. I was doing it for others. I thought for years that I was stupid because I had an IEP. There's no shame in needing help or extra support. There's nothing wrong with you. Just because you're bringing things differently doesn't make you dumb. It makes you who you are. I'm not stupid. I'm just being myself, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm proud of how far I've come. I'm stupid because I think there's nothing wrong with me. Thank you. And next up we have Joe Temple.
Alright, so today I'm going to be presenting a piece that I wrote my junior year for AP Lang, and it's based off of this book written by, it's called The Anthropocene Narrative by John Green. So, yeah, here it is. Long drives, long nights, exchange weekends, bitter conversations, doubled holidays, step-parents, step-siblings, half-siblings, weekly calls every other weekend. A lifetime of abnormality is normal to the one experiencing it. What has become a pandemic of familial poisoning is forever changing lives, for better or worse. We all have heard the quote, 50% of marriages end in divorce, 40% of which have children involved. But what exactly are the implications of such a staggering statistic? Divorce is a battle, except there is no winner and there is no prize. Instead, all there is to find are two broken people with bitter emotions. Piercing words, sharp-edged animosity, both sides strategizing their attack to tear the other down. For whatever reason it may be, lifelong oaths are revoked, possessions are desperately fought over like wolves over a carcass, and kids are left to fend for themselves in the middle of the warfare. Ultimately, it is only through pain that this battle can end, the pain of losing a family and a home. At the end, there is closure and contentment, but the journey there comes at a perilous cost. Years of trudging through confusion, quarrel, and misery. For those who have kids, divorce could mean losing the connection to your only children. According to an article published by the European Sociological Review, among children of divorced parents, it is more common that the relationship with the father and the mother is, quote, poor. Poor does not do any justice to the heart-wrenching experiences kids go through. The confusion, anger, and depression that kids feel toward their parents cannot be described as just poor. The unprecedented, life-changing experience of divorce has effects on relationships that are not just poor. Despite all these dangers, there's merit in fighting for these connections. Anything we hold dear is worth fighting for, no matter how stacked the odds are against us. Driving to my dad's house once every other weekend, I have taken the same hour-long ride there approximately 286 times. Considering the round trip, that's 572 hours of driving back and forth. 572 hours of the same highway, same street signs, same time of day, and the same overnight bag. But in those 572 hours, my relationship with my dad did not remain the same, nor did it devolve into something poor. In fact, the opposite happened. The first 100 hours were unbearable, and it wasn't because of my dad's ceaseless rambling of philosophical or religious teachings. My battle was not an interpersonal one, it was with myself. As I saw the highway exit signs for my mom's house approach, a part of me cowered, intense sadness washing over me as I realized I would soon be leaving my dad. Fortune favors the bold, but bold as I may be, anguish and misery always bested me, so I stared out the window to hide my defeat. However, as the drives passed, the years passed, and I began to understand my opponent. Some 3 or 4 years later, I took the reins. Instead of drowning out the lessons, I decided to listen. I soaked in the stories of our prophets, Muhammad, who led the religion, David, whose obedience to God allowed him to defy expectations, and my favorite, my namesake, Yusuf, whose story embodies the humility and piety of Islam. I learned about the motivations of corporate America against the middle and lower class, which undoubtedly went over my head as a 9-year-old. I discovered new music from my dad, Clutch, Metallica, Bad Brains, the Melvins, and more. Unfiltered, my dad spoke to me as an equal, not a child. And as someone who thirsted for knowledge, I was fascinated to learn about things no one else was willing to tell me. As a result of these drives, our connection developed into something beautiful, the level of which was unforeseen for a divorced family. The distance that had been dreadfully long began to work to my advantage. Within an hour, I had more time, undistracted, to absorb the release of information and stories that may not have come out otherwise. I wanted more teachings, more excitement, more lectures that I just barely comprehended. Every word I listened to made me better understand my dad and consequently reinforced my relationship with him. As I matured, lectures evolved into discussions and I began to contribute to them. Anguish and misery forgotten, I grew delighted to engage in thoughtful conversations with my best friend. Something as simple as drive salvaged my vulnerable relationship and turned it into a deep connection. Who was to say any of this would have developed had my dad lived close, or even if my parents were still together? Ultimately, there is no way of knowing, and all there is to do is appreciate the process by which I've come to this result. I have no hate, no anguish, no misery. Occasionally, I'm reminded of the grief-stricken, unhappy kid that I used to be. Although my battle with him will never end, I constantly show him the family around me, how much they love me, and the relationships I built with all of them. At the end of the day, I would not have had it any other way. Divorce is a battle, but it doesn't have to be. We can choose to brandish our weapons of hate, aim for the throats of those that we once loved, and bring ourselves down in the process. Or there's solidarity. There's understanding that it is in our human nature for there to be imperfections. imperfections in ourselves, in our relationships. We can accept each other for the mistakes we've made and learn to move on in a manner that mitigates our suffering. Either way, there will be hurting, sadness, and pain, but we can choose to go down that path by ourselves with hate in our hearts, or we can do it together. I had to learn that one path was better than the other, and as a result, I've transformed into a person who can confidently say that divorce has made me love my family more than I had ever imagined. I give divorce 3 stars. Shout out to Paul, also my 5th period English class. Next up, we have Cora Jopa.
Hello, I'm Cora. This is my poem titled Lactose Intolerance because I am lactose intolerant. It's short and sweet. I wish to live and eat like the others. They get what I can't have. I watch them savor what I yearn for. Feels like cruel and unusual punishment. Let's go get some ice cream. These nachos are so good. Can we order some pizza? You just have to try this milkshake. My body lacks some lactase. It won't tolerate the devilish disaccharide. I wonder if I can ever change. Google says to wait another 10 years. Yet, I still pursue the path of pain and indulge in these dairy desires. In the moment, I don't care where I end, but later, in the bathroom, I do. Thank you. Next up is Yana.
Hi, I'm Brianna. Shout out to Mrs. N's 5th period creative comp. This is a poem that is a letter to my past self, but also just kind of to anyone else who needs it. To 12, 13, 14-year-old me, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we have been overly, painfully aware that we are perceived since before we could even form the words to share that feeling. Mom and Dad always tell stories of how even as a little 2-year-old, we were nervous, scared, embarrassed to put ourselves out there, to let the real us be seen. I know you, and I know that you carry that fear like a tattered, disgusting emotional support doll that you just can't get rid of because it feels like protection. I know you carry a world of hurt because it's not protection. Hiding yourself away only brings isolation and loneliness and despair. And it feels like you're alone in your passions, your quirks, your pains. I'm sorry. You carry that pain for a little while longer, I'm afraid. That fear never quite leaves you. But I know me, almost 18 years old, living so much life since that darkness you reside in. Just know that it gets better. We get better. Just know that we form the deep connections we desperately crave. We share the interests we love with such passion. We forge through the fear, and we are known and loved and accepted. To 12, 13, 14-year-old me, thank you for carrying on through the darkness so that I can bask in this light. You'll get there someday too. Thank you. Next up is Fish.
Before we start, I'd like to shout out Mrs. Inks' 5th period class. I'd also like to shout out Ms. Kermit, who is standing between Section A and Section B. She is retiring this year, and I cannot express how much she means to me and how much she's changed my life. And as for my poem, it is called Icarus. Fly, Icarus, fly, ignore the burning wax crawling down your spine. Fly, Icarus, fly, wings of wax and feather were never meant to last forever. Fly, Icarus, fly, the burning ball of ambition never leaving your vision. Fly, Icarus, fly, let freedom know your name, even if it's an early grave. The touch of death came too soon, but know they will remember you. Is the taste of freedom worth your life? Are you truly ready to take flight? Kiss the sun, hold the sky, do not listen when your father cries. Fly, Icarus, fly. The waves contain your tiny island. You've got no sense of your time in. Why do they blame you when you've just been freed? It was the first time you had truly been breathed. Fly, Icarus, fly. Icarus, do not cry when you die. Icarus, do not pray when you decay. Icarus, freedom will know your name. Icarus, history will remember this game. Fly, Icarus, fly. Icarus, you will be free. Icarus, this is the god's decree. Icarus, you are meant to take flight. Icarus, the fates know your might. Fly, Icarus, fly. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zaha. Shout out to Mr. Schaefer's 5th period AP Lit class. I would like to thank Mr. Ank and Mrs. Ank and Mr. Anderson for this opportunity, and also especially thank you to Mr. Schaefer, who's truly one of the most remarkable teachers and individuals I've come across. So the piece I'm about to present is a poem I wrote dedicated to the loss of a friend. Whether it's someone who has physically left the world or someone who has become distant, I believe it's a universal experience to have loved someone and then deal with the person not being a significant part of your life anymore. That being said, here we go. I don't think of you much anymore, only sometimes. Sometimes when I hear your favorite song, the one I thought we would listen to all life long, the melody that once brought peace to my mind, now whispers memories of all that was left behind. Sometimes when skipping one meal turns into skipping two, and the bracelets on my wrist start slipping through, I remember how you gently hold my trembling hands and assure me that you're someone who understands. Sometimes I feel like I see you everywhere, in beautiful sunrises and even the clothes I wear, in the dandelions we used to wish on every day, but those wishes couldn't hold you, they couldn't make you stay. Sometimes with self-created illusions feeding into my delusions, every embrace and every long gaze, your familiar scent and every second of time spent, I think of you, but only sometimes. Thank you.
All right, we have a couple minutes extra and we have a few more poems. So I'm gonna invite Anvi back to the stage. So clap it up.
So for little context about this poem, I wrote this when I turned 17 last year in May. So, okay, 17. Here I am standing in front of my bathroom mirror, practicing my smile, deciding which side of my face looks better. 5 minutes till I turn 17. 17. Not the young sweet 16, but the reality check 17. Your future's a year away 17. The around this time next year you'll be graduating high school and moving on in life 17. Anyways, I usually do love my birthday. There's this birthday tradition in my family, when the clock hits 12, you're surprised with a cake, cards, and a gift. Doesn't matter if you're already asleep, trust you'll be awakened. As years pass by, of course it wasn't really a surprise anymore, but still it meant the world to me. This year though, when the clock hits 12, I'll just need to fake my smile, because I just want to go to sleep. I just want to not be 17. I just need a minute to be me.
Returning to the stage, Fish.
This next one is called Tangerines. Sickly sweet, I peel them gently, all for you. I don't know how to peel them well, but I'll peel them all for you. Pull out all the stringy lines, all the little white things I don't really know the name of, but I'm sure you know the ones. Cut them in quarters or halves or however you like, all for you. I don't know how to peel tangerines, but I peel them all for you. Thank you.
And welcome back, Brianna.
Spring was my favorite season as a child, my tiny hands plucking a sprig of mint from our tiny potted garden. Every cool breeze, a breath of fresh air, the biggest inhale to fuel my innocent laughter. We don't plant mint anymore. The cold of the winter bleeds straight into the blazing summer heat. Springs aren't the same anymore. They aren't my favorite. They fly by in the rush of teenage life, and the feeling it repelled remains long lost. And then, fall, grown up. Fall was never important to me as a kid. Fall was always my least favorite season. Every other season had something special. Spring had my birthday, new beginnings. Summer had endless days to play. Winter had the holiday season. But all fall meant to me was going back to school, the pretty trees becoming barren with no leaves and no snow to cover their branches. But as I've grown as the person I'm proud to be today, fall has become my favorite season. The warmth of the colors, golden sun, orange and red and yellow leaves, contrasted with the crisp chill in the air. The warm feelings, cozy sweaters, feel-good movies, spiced treats that envelop you in the love and happiness of the season. I don't miss the lightness, the innocence of my love for spring. I embrace the warm weight of the love I have for fall, grown up.
And round two for Uche.
Okay, so I actually wrote this one yesterday. I was just writing, and this one's called Blunt Tongue. Someone can say the most basic of words, but mold them with a knife to fit perfectly into any insecurity you haven't formed yet. Words told to a 9-year-old girl. Get in the back of the picture. Ouch. Don't speak to me like that. No, sorry, I'm sorry, I'll do better. In order to be guarded from a sharp blow, you don't defend yourself. You just take it. You defend it with a blunt tongue, a cute feminine giggle to hold back a sob, and an eye roll to stop the tears. I tried to use the sadness, rage, and confusion to buy $30 worth of makeup and a whole new closet. Cashier said other girls have come in trying to do the same thing, but they don't accept that in the store. Can I ask a question? Why can others sharpen their words, and I have to ready my armor? You don't blame the victim of a crime, right? Blunt tongue. Blunt tongue. My weakest savior, yet my strongest enemy. Thank you so much.
And closing us out, one last one from Joseph.
So, I'm not a poet, but these have all been great poems. But I decided I'll share a very short essay that I wrote for a college application that asks to describe an example of your leadership experience in which you have positively influenced others, helped resolve disputes, or contributed to group efforts over time. Waist-high bundles of energy orbited the soccer field. Cleats clashed into shins, kids constantly suffocated the ball, and at some point, a bored defender would pick at the grass, singing to themselves. Their parents were no help. Vehemently committed to the game, they ordered their kids to knock others down, give it their all, and go for goal. As a fresh 15-year-old referee, I wasn't sure I'd survive the chaos. I was new to the whistle, having only previously refereed with a flag in hand. Yet, despite the mayhem, I found my voice to control the game. Soccer games in the Midwest are no joke. Every Saturday morning, parents and coaches arrive with foldable chairs and Dunkin' coffee, itching for a confrontation with each other, or worse, me. As a referee, it's my responsibility to de-escalate the conflicts. Referees are obliged to take charge and teach the game, to be impartial and evaluate a match. As a younger one, I established my confidence to do so. I remember the field, the kids, and even the fouls I called that game. One memorable call occurred nearly as soon as the game started, when a clever player decided to grab the ball and throw it in the opposing goal. Roars erupted from the sidelines. This one, I was sure, was a foul I had to call. The whistle's howl leapt from my lips, and I, with my adult voice on, nicely explained that no, this was not allowed. As if an immense weight had fallen from my shoulders, my anxiety disappeared. As I continued to articulate the rules and prepare the free kick, I felt comfortable in my understanding of the game and my position as a leader. Reffing more soccer games has proven that with practice, leadership becomes easier. As a referee, I challenged myself to face criticism with more responsibility, but it was only because I took the risk to referee that game that I discovered I had the courage and skills to perform the task. Now, I lead soccer games with self-assurance, though appeasing an angry soccer mom never gets easier.
Excellent job by all of our readers. One last round of applause for all of you. We've got the slightest bit of time for one, maybe two really good questions. So I'm looking at you. Who's got one or two really good questions? Who wants it? Boom, right there. What do you got? Ooh, looking at the future. What does your future entail? What do you want to do?
I actually changed my mind earlier this year. I'm going to go into behavioral psychology.
I'm going to be a speech therapist. I'm going to be an illustrator.
I've been accepted into a creative writing major, and I think I want to be an editor.
I think I want to be a doctor, but not sure yet.
I want to be a human rights lawyer.
I'm not really sure, but maybe an engineer.
Good questions, I have no idea.
Wow, the future, good hands, I love it. One last question. I'm looking around. Who's got one last really good question? Right here in the middle, what do you got? For Anvi and Uche, how are you so creative? So I'll give it to Anvi and then Uche.
That's a really hard question. I just think it just comes to me. I don't know.
I feel like I don't think I have any more creativity than like anyone else in the room. I feel like I just have an easier time putting it out of me. I don't let anything like block me from finding what I want to do. So yeah.
I lied. We got time for one more good question. One more. Last one. In the back, what do you got? Were you born with the name Fish?
I'm actually trans. I was assigned female at birth, but when I got older, I decided I didn't vibe with that, so I changed my name to the first thing that came to mind, and it was Fish.
I love it.